let's move on to lighter news and more positive news. Okay. Now, where we at with this thing? Let's see. Let's move on. Breaking news. Tennessee State University announces plans for a historic $250 million funding package from the state of Tennessee. This is major. This is major. This report is from the Tennessee Tribune. Let me see up the Tennessee Tribune. This is major, people. Let's see. On the day the nation celebrated the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, Tennessee State University shared its plans for the historic $250 million from the state of Tennessee. It's the largest one-time investment to a historically black university by a state. The funds come at a critical time as states across the nation are being held accountable even more for underfunding HBCUs. The funds are for capital improvement projects only as outlined by the state. University officials say long overdue repairs and upgrades are now on the way, citing many of the campus structures have gone without repair for decades. Tennessee State University President Glenda Glover says the much-needed funding will cover expenses for upgrades to several academic and student services buildings, in addition to the electrical and HVAC systems. We are excited to share with you our plans for using this historic funding that will assist with TSU's continued growth and campus development as we provide students with the best academic environment possible, Glover adds. This will allow us to enhance our campus for further sustainability as we continue our service to our students. A total of 6 structures will see improvements. Some of these renovations began in fall 2022, but students should expect continuous upgrades to the following buildings: Boswell Science Complex, Davis Humanities, Elliott Hall, Jackson, Harold Love Sr., and the McCord first, as universities say, is the best to begin with buildings. Okay, I have no idea what that's talking about. Okay, now let's discuss it real quick. Tennessee State is talking about using $250 million to renovate 6 buildings. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first heard that those numbers, I was like, "Is that right? Like, are they about to build 640 million? It doesn't even sound like they're building new buildings. They're about to renovate. It's going to cost $40 million per building. That sounds high to me. I'm not going to lie to you. That sounds high. But it's been a long time since I have been in I had an architect internship back in the day. I told you about that. It's been a long time since I've been in that world. Also, I work in the HVAC industry. And I didn't realize prices were up this much in construction, commercial construction. But you know what hit me? They're on point and they're actually working with the tight budget. $250 million. I know it's like, oh, it's an HBCU. They should be happy. They should be happy. It's still underfunded. I think somebody said that the state actually owed them like $600 million and they settled for $250 million or something like. It's a disparity like that. Like it was hundreds of millions more that they owed them, but they settled for around 250, which is still good. But I just want to put it in perspective real quick, right? That $250 million as a total for capital improvements, capital expenditure improvements. I think that was the wording they used. What was the wording they used? Let me see here. Capital improvement projects, right? Let me put it into perspective for you real quick. Now, of course, these schools are not on the same level, but I just want to give you the sheer scale of difference between big PWIs and our HBCU institutions. Let me read this to you real quick here. According to the November 15th meeting agenda for the Board of Trustees, Master Planning and Facilities Committee, Ohio State spent more than $912 million in fiscal year 2022 on its projects, including construction and design. Most of Ohio State's 13 major projects with budgets of more than $20 million, remain within the projected timeframes and budget. Construction on Ohio State's combined heat and power plant is on track to miss its December 2023 deadline, and project expenses are likely to exceed its $289 million budget. Okay, did you hear what I said? They have one building, and that building is a heat and power plant facility. So it's not a, of course, heat and power plants, you want it to be state of the art. Their one building it's costing them more at Ohio State than the entire budget that Tennessee State is working with to renovate 6 whole buildings. Just think about this. Both of these are state institutions. Tennessee State is being paid for a century of underfunding and lack of funding by the state. So we're talking about 100 years of funding disparity. They are making it up by giving Tennessee State some money that couldn't even buy a power plant for Ohio State. Ohio State is about to go over their $289 million budget. Tennessee State couldn't even pay for that building alone with that money. So even after Tennessee State pays for all these facilities to get renovated, I'm sure they will make them look as good as possible. They will still lack other major institutions. And the reason I bring it up is because that also leads to having a hard time recruiting when kids, and it's not just athletes, schools in general are doing their best to recruit new talent academically and socially and athletically, because recruiting is for everything. You need students there, and you need high quality students at your school. So if I'm a student, if I'm a 12th grader, valedictorian at my school in West Virginia, and I'm like, hey, I want to visit a couple schools to see where I want to go. I'm going to visit Tennessee State. I'm going to visit Ohio State. When I see the difference between the campuses, it will almost not make any sense for me to choose Tennessee State. And that's how a lot of people end up not going to HBCUs, is because when they go to the campus and then they go to another school, even a school not as big as Ohio State, if you go from Tennessee State to Georgia State, there's a vast difference in facilities and access to resources. Okay, so we want to send positive energy to Tennessee State. I really hope that they can get that get as much work done as they can out of that $250 million. We got to start somewhere, and I'm not mad. It's an amazing thing to get $250, but they are still severely underpaid, and Tennessee didn't even give them all the money they owe them, right? So, let's send our energy. I hope they're able to use black contractors. Call up H.J. Russell Construction Company out of Atlanta, but they're a national company, but they're out of Atlanta. Don Peoples and them, Cheryl McKissick on the, architecture side. Call up some black contractors, get some of this work done. Those are nice contracts right there. $40 million contracts can really change a business. The companies I just named, they're up there. They mess with $1 billion contracts, but this is still good to add to your portfolio. So hopefully whatever companies end up getting these contracts, hopefully they do the best work possible. And shout out to Tennessee State.